Hi, it's James, and I want to talk to you a little bit more about my favorite little booklet. And in current events today, we've been talking a lot about the Electoral College. The Electoral College just voted and elected Joe Biden as President of the United States. And I think there's a lot of confusion in the media about what this process entails, and part of that confusion comes from people who don't understand the Constitution and the laws attached to it. So, the Electoral College is covered in two places in the Constitution. It's covered right in Article 2, and then it's covered in the 12th Amendment. So let's take a look at what it has to say. In Article 2, second paragraph, each state shall appoint, in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct, a number of electors equal to the whole number of senators and representatives to which the state may be entitled in the Congress, but no senator or representative, or person holding an office or trust or profit under the United States, shall be appointed an elector. The electors shall meet in their respective states and vote by ballot for two persons, of whom at least one shall not be an inhabitant of the same state with themselves, and they shall make a list of all the persons voted for, and the number of votes for each, which list they shall sign and certify, and transmit sealed to the seat of the government of the United States, directed to the President of the Senate. The President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and House of Representatives, open all the certificates, and the votes shall then be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes shall be President, if such number be a majority of the whole number of electors appointed, and if there be more than one who have such majority, and have an equal number of votes, then the House of Representatives shall immediately choose by ballot one of them for President, and if no person have a majority, then from the five highest on the list, the said House shall in like manner choose the President. But in choosing the President, the votes shall be taken by states, the representation from each state having one vote. A quorum for this purpose shall consist of a member or members from two-thirds of the states, and a majority of all states shall be necessary to a choice. In every case, after the choice of President, the person having the greatest number of votes for electors shall be the Vice President. But if there should remain two or more who have equal votes, the Senate shall choose from them by ballot the Vice President. Congress may determine now that was all in brackets as changed by the 12th Amendment, which we'll get to in a moment. The Congress may determine the time of choosing the electors and the day on which they shall give their votes, which day shall be the same time throughout the United States. Okay, so that's what the Article 2 of the Constitution says about the Electoral College. Now let's go to the 12th Amendment. The electors shall meet in their respective states and vote by ballot for President and Vice President, one of whom, at least, shall not be an inhabitant of the same state with themselves. They shall name in their ballots the person voted for as President, and in distinct ballots the person voted for as Vice President, and they shall make distinct lists of all persons voted for as President, and all persons voted for as Vice President, and of the number of votes for each, which list they shall sign and certify and transmit sealed to the seat of the government of the United States, directed to the President of the Senate. The President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and the House of Representatives, open all the certificates, and the votes shall be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes for President shall be the President, if such numbers be a majority of the whole number of electors appointed, and if no person have such majority, then from the persons having the highest numbers, not exceeding three on the list of those voted for as President, the House of Representatives shall choose immediately by ballot the President. But in choosing the President, the votes shall be taken by states, the representation from each state having one vote. A quorum for this purpose shall consist of a member or member from two-thirds of the states, and a majority of all the states shall be necessary to a choice. And superseded by Section 3 of the 20th Amendment is another section. And if the House of Representatives shall not choose a president, when the right of choice shall devolve upon them, before the fourth day of the March the following, then the Vice President shall act as President, blah, blah, blah. The person having the greatest number of votes as Vice President shall be the Vice President. So this changes that instead of the second place winner gets the Vice President is separately elected. And if no person have a majority, then from the highest number on the list, the Senate shall choose a Vice President, a quorum for that purpose. But no person constitutionally ineligible to be President shall be Vice President. And then the 20th Amendment is the Presidential Succession Amendment, and that goes basically who becomes president if the president is dead or disabled at the time that the inauguration shall take place. So there is also one other amendment giving electors to DC. I don't recall which amendment that is. I think it's one of the later ones. Yes, the 23rd Amendment gives 3 Electoral College votes to the District of Columbia. So, a lot of people in conservative circles are saying that they think that this gives Congress the power to reject the Electoral College votes and simply elect the president on their own. And it doesn't. There's nothing in here that says that they can just decide to reject votes. Nothing whatsoever. You didn't hear that line. It just says that they count the votes. Um, and there are other statutory provisions which I won't get into in this video because I'm already over 5 minutes. But there are other provisions that we can talk about that go through exactly how that works. And I may do a video on those provisions of law as we get closer to January 6th when the Electoral College votes. I'm sorry, to January 6th when the Electoral College votes are counted.